I fucking forgot. I forgot I was supposed to get the hot dog.
So I told Garrett to have a hot dog.
Damn it.
Oh,
But I
man.
didn't tell him why at all.
Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot. But that was last week. You should have reminded me. I would have done it. Oh. I forgot.
Welcome to Wrestle Fandom Radio, starring Garrett not eating hot dogs tonight.
Oh, you suck.
So that's going to be the end of our show for this week. I'm Joseph Stone.
You okay, Tom?
So I have over 100 pictures in my phone of Garrett eating hot dogs. And
Goes to show you what he likes to think about.
Yep.
so my prompt on the AI app, so you can pick like a person's face and then prompt it. And the prompt was CM Punk eating hot dogs. So that's you fusing CM Punk.
Look in my ween. You know what?
Now, Garrett,
Garrett.
the question I have for you: how do you feel about that many hot dogs?
Like 37.
I feel like
That's
it's not.
actually a two.
I feel like it's,
So that's a cue to Todd. Garrett, how do you feel about that many hot dogs?
Give it to me.
And where do you want them?
I'll take all of it. It's amazing. There we go. Thank you.
That was a penis.
That was a penis.
Wow, this show's gone so far off the rails, and
It's never enough hot dogs. Let's put it like that.
Listen,
There's never enough.
I'm smoking hash, so I don't know where it's gonna go.
We are 2 minutes into the show.
We all know where that's going, Todd. Before we go any further, let's give it to Drew. Let's let Drew celebrate.
Yeah,
Let's let Drew celebrate.
Yeah, I'm still wearing it.
So
There it is. There it is.
I wore it to work. I'll wear it again tomorrow. I'll wear it forever.
So before we continue, let me explain to Todd. Todd, Drew supports college football, one champion.
Oh, I know what all that is.
Oh, I know you do. I was hoping you were going to say, "Oh, are those pot leaves?" That's what everyone.
Actually, before
I
we
thought
get
they were
into
probably.
They're not.
Why not?
So before we get into wrestling, regular stuff, blah 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 blah, we have a little bit of an announcement. Garrett is working on a new endeavor. Garrett, you want to explain to all four
I'll
of
take
our
all of it.
all
Not
four of
not
our-
that endeavor. That's so. Hold on. I'll get to Todd. I'll get to that in a second. Okay. Because if you watched the Garrett Coffin episode a couple weeks ago, you will know that we talked about doing a show where it's
Man.
Coffin and I strictly not quite dirty stuff yet, but just doing interviews with wrestlers, with all the local people around here, getting every wrestler we can get, streaming on here, streaming on Niche Network right to you. So, Wrestle Fandom After Dark will be coming your way very soon. Then,
those are porn shit.
Wrestle Fandom Way After Dark is where you get to hear all the clips that Todd gets. Todd plays
Actually,
them.
we call that website GarrettEatingHotDogs.com.
Yo, wouldn't it be weird if you type that in right now and there's some weird stuff, even though it's not me? It's just some random Garrett.
That's not going to happen right now. And let's
It'll happen
do
later.
it. You know what? Let's do this like this.
Joe, do not make that website.
I'm not making that website. No.
Not yet.
We do enough. We do enough through here.
I have free time.
Okay. Garrett eating.
Dude, we can't stream, you know what, across here. Okay, be careful. Maybe you should not be sharing it.
It does not exist, guys.
Hurry up,
Yes.
buy it.
Yeah. It doesn't cost much to buy a fucking domain.
It doesn't cost much.
No.
I
But
mean,
it
we
will-
should probably
it
get
will generate
niche.network.com first, but
Yeah.
I mean,
mean-
GarrettEatingHotDogs.com.
What's this link to GarrettEatingHotDogs.com? What?
And then it'll
Yeah.
just be a montage of all the pictures Joe has. That's it.
Yeah,
No
it's
content.
literally just
Try-
that on a
make
constant
new ones,
loop.
like, every week, I'll just pick a new locale. So it'll be like Garrett eating hot dogs at the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Garrett eating hot
Just
dogs at
gonna
the
say the
Vatican.
leading stuff.
Garrett eating hot dogs at a Diddy party. Like all these things, you know, like
Look at Drew's face.
I was like,
they call him Glizzy Garrett for a reason.
oh God.
Wait, hold on.
Glizzy
Hold
Garrett.
on.
Glizzy Garrett.
Hold on.
Glizzy Garrett. Glizzy Garrett. All
Hold
right,
on.
so we are 6 minutes in, and we've talked about no wrestling, really. Okay. Oh, that's cute, Drew.
It's the new Psycho Sid. I picked him up
Drew's
at Target
playing
the other day.
That's awesome.
It is awesome.
So,
Dope.
first things first, guys.
Mhm.
We are going to talk about the show that was named after an iconic phrase said by Dwayne Johnson. SmackDown. All right, so this is with the card that was listed: Bayley versus Tiffany Stratton. Solo Sikoa returns to SmackDown. Nia Jax and Candice LeRae versus Bianca Belair and Naomi. The Motor City Machine Guns versus Los Grazas. Let's see what happened. Opening segment. We had Joe Testatori and Wayne Barrett. They welcomed us to the show, walking us through the back into the crowd as they talked about the arena. Good old Mr. Rey Mysterio came out. Everybody's going nuts. 619 chants, yada, yada, yada. He said he's going to, be in the fucking Rumble like everybody else. Kevin Owens interrupted him, and they got into an argument about KO being delusional about being the champion. Ray said he was acting like Dominic, and that caused a fight. It's kind of a standard promo. Then from storylines I don't give a shit about, Volume 8000, we had Naomi and Bianca versus Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. Blah, 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 blah. Belair and Naomi won. All right.
That's weird.
Other notable moments from that segment of the show: Cody refused to sign a contract to face KO until KO has signed it. LeRae is so short that Bianca looked weird doing
She
the
is very short.
punches in the corner. Naomi's slingshot facebuster looked good. Then we had the
Looked good.
other Uso, James, versus Carmelo Hayes. They had a little backstage moment last week that led to them coming to fisticuffs this week. And Jimmy got a nice little reaction when he made his entrance. Melo talked some trash on his way to the ring. So Jimmy brought him into the ring the hard way from the apron to get the match started.
Hard way.
Ended up, blah, 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 ended up in a DQ. It was meh. We had a little bit of a segment in the back with Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. It was kind of funny with Piper acting like secret agent, around Chelsea. It's kind of cool.
Right.
And then we had Los Garzas versus the Motor City Machine Guns. Nobody gives a fuck, but it was a really, really good match. And that's the thing. The story
Was it a 5-star?
I wouldn't say 5-star. I'd say 4.
It
but
doesn't matter.
But we hit a little moment with Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu, and they're eventually gonna have a match, and it's gonna be awesome, and we can't wait.
You think there'll be a stip on that?
I don't know. They would be perfect for Hell in the Cell. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
How
When's Hell in the Cell?
Any
When is it normally? Isn't it towards the end of the year?
yeah. Well, if they build up to it.
Are they still doing it, or are they actually going along with it, where you have a Hell in a Cell match at something else?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They,
Well,
they
then
got rid
that
of
was
that
perfect.
pay-per-view.
They got rid of the actual pay-per-view, right?
We'll see what happens. Like I feel like everything is kind of like up in the air. Then we had Piper Niven versus B-Fab, another garbage I don't care about. Then we had Rey Mysterio versus Kevin Owens, and you know, it was good. Like it wasn't. I give it like 3 stars, but it started off slow. It I don't know, like it didn't.
So it wasn't good.
I'm not excited.
Wasn't good,
right
is
now.
what I'm
Like
saying.
shit. Like then we had Tiffany versus Bailey. It was great.
How was that?
I thought it was a really, really good match.
That sounds like
Tiffany
that would be a
won.
good match.
Tiffany won. Bailey's she needs to change her entrance music personally, because that music worked when she was a heel. Not
Oh,
really
okay. Yeah.
working now that she's back to the face. And I like the fact that she's like starting to rock like her like Hugger Bailey kind of attire. You know what I mean? And Tiffany's getting a lot of good reactions. Tiffany won.
What?
I think he's progressed quite a bit. It was long because it being 3 hours. I get why USA is trying to get their most bang for their buck, but it felt very, very long.
I bet it did.
Yeah. I see what you did there. All right. Okay.
I'm 12.
Hold on a second here. Am I having a fucking stroke, or does somebody smoke detector need a battery?
Yes, that's mine. I just heard it. I just heard it as we were doing this.
Okay. I'm like, oh my God, because nobody's saying anything. I'm like, oh, is this it?
Well, because we're all professionals.
Podcast.
Am I having a stroke?
We're all professionals here, and we know how to ignore it.
I just
must go on.
It's the only thing I hear.
just replaced and put batteries in all mine down here in the basement, and I think one literally started going off. So it might be mine.
No,
There it
I
was.
can hear it. It's mine.
Okay.
It's one in my closet. I know.
I know where it is. It's the top of those damn steps. Sorry.
Joe, I have a question about in like the way you were talking about like the matches, right? Has WWE gotten into storylines so heavily that when they give us a match with a weak storyline attached or a match with no storyline attached, we're not invested at all, no matter what, even in the wrestling, and therefore the match usually sucks.
So this is what, and I think you'll probably understand this analogy the best. Take seasons of shows, right? So you have like Buffy season 3. Great season, the storyline, action, everything was good. And then you have like Buffy season 6. We watched it. There were a couple high points, but the writing sucked for the most part for that season.
Right.
And it's the same thing with wrestling. Like, they have a lot of these characters we love, a lot of these characters we don't give a fuck about because they haven't given us a reason to give a fuck about them.
Right.
And it's like you're in this like kind of like Nia Jax, like what the fuck are we doing with her? Like, you have her attacking people over here, you have her attacking people over there. You ever doing this? Like, pick a fucking storyline. Like the women's division, which in the last 5-6 years have been a real high point, has gone to the fucking gutter with you have like these pillars of the girls, you know, the 4 horsewomen or whatever, with only Bailey being the only one there right now.
I mean, Becky's sick.
And it's falling apart. And then like you're not having like Alexa there, like even Carmella, like you have like these girls who have been like holding their own, holding things up for the last half a decade, and now they're not there. And the women talent that's there, Not that they're not talented. We just don't care about them. You haven't given
I don't
us a
think-
reason to care about them.
And I think that's more on the writers, like you just said, too.
Right.
Like for that. But
Listen, catering.
yeah, but it's because I feel like if you also watch AEW, all of a sudden there'll just be a match of two people you've never seen on TV, and they just have a match. That's their match tonight, and they throw a banger of a match. Everyone was awesome. The storytelling gets told in the wrestling of that one match that they have together, but it's pretty good. And then they leave it to the ones that have the storyline to be the bigger, better, best matches.
And
I think
it's not
that's one
we've
thing that
been-
they do better.
And it's not like you said that we've been spoiled with storytelling. That's not it at all. That's the evolution. Like look at movies. Like the fact that we have like action movies and sci-fi movies when we originally had those black and white soundless movies doesn't
Right.
mean that we're spoiled now because things evolved into what they are. Wrestling has evolved into something else. And yes, it is disappointing for us when we are having something that's hitting on all cylinders that is entertaining on both fronts with the wrestling and the storytelling. And we have that perfect mesh, like what they've done with the Bloodline in the last few years for the most part. Like, dude, like Garrett, when you and I, the first episode that I came on fucking 7 years ago, I told the story to you, Sean, and Stu about how fucking Reigns tried everything, and I was like, fuck him, I'll never support him again.
And now you're like,
I acknowledge you, my tribal chief. I apologize for my disrespect of you, my tribal chief. Okay? That's how I feel now. And we have an opportunity here. We are, and I say
Marshall.
we, but WWE themselves are on the edge of something wonderful, going global with this company, like truly going global. And go ahead, Drew.
I just would like to interject. I feel like this is fresh for me as well, considering, I don't know if you know this, but the Buckeyes won the national championship Monday. We were ready to, as a fan base, send off Ryan Day, and because he lost to Michigan. And you know what? Times are changing, and we need to learn to sometimes just appreciate and let things play out. That's what I've learned. And that's how we need to do with some wrestling storylines. Because I feel like sometimes things are so good, like the Bloodline, and then we get Cody, and we're like, okay, that's nice, but your story's not very good anymore. Now that you caught the car, what are you doing now? Nothing. Who's
Right.
still hot? The Bloodline. They don't need a belt. They're bona fide. They're made.
Right.
All those guys. I don't care if you drag them off the streets and they were doing nothing. Whoever you're dragging off the street, well, that's not true because there's you know who I'm talking about. It's not very good on the Bloodline. But I'm just saying, Bloodline is still good. And when you tell us such a good story, you want everything else to be to that standard. And your expectations get raised. And I don't think it's so much being spoiled. I think it's just, you know, the talent's there. You know, the work will be there. And when you don't get it, you're kind of angry because it should be a home run. It should be a home run every time.
100%.
So that's a little.
one other thing I'd like to also throw, speaking of that, Drew, we all feel the same way. We all wanted to see him finish the story, and now we're all at this stale spot with him. Does anybody else want to see Homelander Cody make the Bullet Club in WWE and just try and take over? Like,
So
I'm
that's actually the
talking,
conversation.
I'm talking full on Homelander.
He's got to go full Hogan.
So,
Well, minus the racist part, but he's got to
so
go full Hogan.
it's funny you say that.
Yeah, not racist.
I don't know if I had it with Todd or I had it with somebody at work, but that's what we were talking about. How Cody's, they're asking me like, "Oh, how's wrestling been?" It's one of those. They'll throw it on occasionally. They watch the big 4 pay-per-views and and I started saying, I was like, Cody's story's got stale. He needs to go, and I used the Homelander analogy, and it must have been the day that the TNA news broke. And I was like, bro, I go, we're only one step away from them, like, because with AEW failing the way that they are, and I'm going to say that they are failing, something that they might be able to do to resurrect it is come up with a deal like TNA's doing now. So then, like, they're still their own company, they're still doing their own thing, but you know what? Oh shit, Roman Reigns has been being attacked by the Wyatt Six, and Seth Rollins is trying to help Roman Reigns, and then, oh no, what if the two of them are alone in the ring and the Wyatt Six are attacking, and who's gonna save them? And all of a sudden you hear Wild Thing come through the fucking stereo system, and John Moxley comes running down. He's got a vest on, he's got a kendo stick in hand. You think it's 2013 again, and it's
Joe, your voice just then, can you give me a good John Moxley? You can do it. Come on.
John Moxley.
Yeah, there it is. I like it. Nice.
But it's like, that's where we're moving towards. We're moving to this different universes being able to go together. Like,
so is this like the territory thing almost?
Yes, and it's like, I feel like we are at a stage very similar to where it was when Vince took it from
I'm at a
the territories to national, because we're going from, because even though WWE is a global thing, it's really a U.S. thing. And now with the Netflix deal, making it a real global thing, like, we're at the next jump. Like, you are going to see Manias overseas, or you're going to see like Manias in 2 locations at the same time. Half of it done in Vegas, half of it done in Saudi Arabia. You know what I mean? Like, you are going to see these crazy things happening, and I'm all for it. It's just we're at this weird, they're trying to learn how to walk, but they really, really are trying to run as much as they can era, if that makes sense.
It does.
I
think like just before Vince left, there was some sort of thing about they're like trying to get into, we're trying to do WWE New Mexico and Japan, and I don't know what the plan was, but I know that's something happened. I don't know what. Maybe because Saudi Arabia was so lucrative, they're like, I don't really know how that played out. I just remember a while back they were like, we're going to branch out, and they didn't really do that. So you're right. I think you're right. I think you're onto it.
I personally loved NXT UK. I thought it was fantastic.
Yes.
I
agree.
I want it done correctly. I don't want the product itself to lose how good it's been, because like truly, like, we, as much as we bitch and complain that, like, and a lot of it is that they have too much talent they don't know what to do with, and it's not like I want them to cut the talent loose because there's so much there. Go ahead, Drew.
Sorry, you know what you said too just then, it reminded me of like just a whole bunch of things came rushing back to me. So like we always talk about how big the roster is and they don't do stuff with people. There's people, and we all know this, but there's people that are just regulated to like doing certain things. So they like have house show people that predominantly work house shows or whatever their velocity or speed or whatever they're doing. They're on that. And then because for the longest time, they'd have the Mexican wrestlers for Mexico, and they would have like the Great Khali and stuff like that. It's like, I get that, but at the same time too, this is kind of a little bit all over the place, but I always think of wrestling as like in the form of comic books. Like, you've got a creative team, right?
Yes.
Give the creative team this amount of titles, which is, I don't mean titles like championship belts. I mean, like, we got the Cody Rhodes book, and then we got the Roman Reigns books. Someone writes those stories, okay? And they need to do a better job of relegating time if they're worried about it. And then you give another creative team these people and this and so forth and so on. And then you give them help to write that. So you have more people focused on writing stories for multiple people. But I know a lot goes into that. And that idea doesn't quite work because you don't know who's going to get hot and who's not. But I mean, it's wrestling, and they shift on a dime. Like, when people are hot, they'll push them to the moon. So I don't know.
So from my understanding,
I feel like the writers I feel like they could still do better.
So from my understanding, it is done very similar to that, but it's more like I have the Roman Solo story is one book, and it's like you're gonna write that, but they don't. They're very, very quick to be like, all right, Drew, I want you to write it, and you write the first show, and then you come in next week and like, all right, Drew, you're writing Otis now. I'm putting Garrett on that.
They can't do that. That's the problem.
And you can tell a lot of the times. That like it looks like they're going right, then it's going left, then it's going straight, then it's going back, and like it. They're like they need a Kevin Feige is what they need. And that's what Triple H I hoped would be, and it has gotten better. And I know like it is a lot to deal with.
Yeah, but now he does everything, so he can't do like when NXT Black and Gold was his.
Yeah,
it was the best product. It was the best wrestling product on TV. Yes. Period. You know, and then it was like, then everything happened. Everything kept moving along, like you were saying. And then, you know, Vince got in trouble. He moved up. Like all these things, and it's just, it's
like. Do you know what I think would work the best? It would work the best almost all the way around. Is you do. All right, Todd, you probably won't understand this. The other two will understand this. You give it the 2099 treatment.
Okay. Yeah.
You take it. You make it Attitude Era 2099 is the best way I can explain it.
Mm-hmm.
And what that is, Todd, in the 90s there was Marvel came out, yes. Like so X-Men 2099, Spider-Man 2099, Punisher 2099. So it was a familiar product, but it was, you know, like 2,000 years in the future, so it was completely different, but it was a name you kind of knew. So like to have like this generation's version of the NWO, you know, like they want Hogan's already gotten a bad fucking rap from that first thing. Fuck it. Bring back Hollywood.
Yeah,
dude, lean right into that. Bring back Hollywood Hogan. Have you know what? Who does he come out with? Cody Rhodes. Oh, too fucking sweet, baby. Like, come on. Kevin Nash, Hogan, and Cody Rhodes coming out as the new three. Take my money, bro. Take all of it. Like, come on.
A new DX.
Right.
D-Generation next. Where is it?
I like that. I like that a lot. That's really good.
Where is it? I've been saying it for years. You can even bring them. You can even bring them up from NXT. D-Generation next. They're the next guys. Boom. You got them. 5 guys. 5 guys and a girl.
You know, and with these things, like with this D-Generation next, who's leading them? You have Michaels leading them, and then you have Triple H lean into the evil corporate bad guy.
He's the new corporation.
Yes.
He kind of did it before.
He's the new Mr. McMahon.
It was me all along, Sean.
And then you have Sean leading this new, like, dude, can you picture like Ciampa? Oh.
Yes, I can.
Ciampa and Johnny Gargano would be the perfect two, led by Shawn Michaels as fucking D-Next. Like, come on.
Come on, dude. They're perfect.
Take my money.
Take my money. All my money, dude. Like.
And like they attempted to do the Nation of Domination when they did the League of Nations. They tried to do the
they also tried to do that with MVP's group a little bit, I guess.
Yeah.
But the problem with that was Alberto Del Rio, and he's terrible. I'm sorry. He is one of there is no redeeming quality about that dude. I don't like his wrestling. I don't like anything about him. I don't like his face.
His botch spot against the Big Show is all time. Lives in my head rent free.
Dude. And then like you have like when the other Steiner comes in and you have the Steiners like you lean into the nostalgia just enough to be people like, oh yeah.
And
You know,
it-
speaking of bringing
and
back
just-
tag teams, I wish that James Laurinaitis, not quarterback, but linebacker at Ohio State University for some time. I don't know if you know this. That's where he played. He was going to come in. He should have taken up the mantle of his father. Just saying. But hey, he's doing a hell of a job at Ohio State.
And just when you need someone to go full loose cannon, Lexus King just denies the Lexus King name and embraces his actual real name again.
He's a DX guy. He'd be DX next.
No, he'd just be the loose cannon. He'd almost be the Stone Cold.
Dude, and then think about this.
Like that.
You
Because-
find the biggest motherfucker out there, and you have Son of Taker.
That's what he's called.
Son of Taker.
It's like a monster truck.
Right? Like,
He rides out on a monster truck.
dude, there's so much you can do just to change it enough where you hook guys like us in who haven't been watching and be like, what? They
But
say
we've
Son
been
of
watching, Joe.
No, I mean like guys like our age who like haven't been watching.
Oh, okay.
And they can be like, wait, Son of the Undertaker? Shut the fuck up. They're so stupid. What time is it on? Okay, I'll tune in. I'm just gonna see
That's
what it
just so
is.
stupid. It might work.
I just want to see what it is, and then they go home that night. Oh my Undertaker came back with him? Oh my god. It's gotta be Kane!
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you gotta change your pants?
I think I need an inhaler. I don't use one though.
This
This
should be this is WWE's cue to fire. I don't know how many people are on your writing team, but you got 4
A lot.
people who can come up with plenty right here.
Right.
We'll take your worst guys. We can do nothing with these guys to get the people to like them. Give them to us. I guarantee you.
Give him.
Give them to us. Give us a month. Give it to me.
Hey.
Taker. All right. So next we will talk about Raw. Oh,
Sorry, I didn't watch.
hang on.
I had plans.
Well-
What were you doing again, Drew? You were enjoying your team win? That's awesome.
Okay, I have an article here,
No,
and it's called.
it's false. It's not true.
It is
news.
called 10 Raw and SmackDown Takeaways. All right.
All right.
So the show started with Seth and Sammy in a nice little promo where they kind of like, hey, we're friends. But no, we're not, because in the Royal Rumble, it's everybody's
Wrestling.
Yeah. And like Rollins told Sammy he was going to throw him off over the top rope. We saw some more action with Penta this time against Mr. Pete Dunne. He looks all right.
Wait, Pete Dunne. That's not his name.
No, it's Butch.
Yeah, Butch. It's Butch.
No. The Bruiserweight.
It's Butch.
Bruiserweight's way better.
It's the Butch.
He could
way.
be, he could be the bruiserweight Butch, or Butch. the
So
Bruiserweight.
Oh my God, no! That was awesome. Maybe it should be.
I missed it.
Butch
I heard-
Bruiserweight.
That was awesome.
Oh. So then we had a match between Kofi and Rey Mysterio. And there was a real big botch that thankfully didn't end up badly. But they were out on the apron, outside on the ground, and Kofi goes to do the pop-up power bomb. And when he grabs Rey and he goes to pop him up, his hands just slide off of him. Thankfully, Rey flipped
Because of the
enough.
Diddy oil.
That's what I'm guessing. But Rey flipped enough where he landed like right on his back, so he like really didn't even go far. But like if he didn't, he could like landed right on his neck. It was a pretty big botch. you had the New Day like in the back, like trying to pay off JBL for some stupid shit. I don't know. This heel New Day just doesn't really like tickling my taint too much.
Nowhere near it.
Yeah.
Nowhere near it.
But like they wrestled well. Kofi rolled up.
But tiny little man, and he pinned him.
Yeah. And then we had what was this next one? Braun and Jacob Fatu kind of getting started in a nice little beef.
I don't like Braun, but I like him.
So now Bailey is back on Raw, which I don't know. And
Which, I don't know.
what else was I saying? I was just talking about the possibility of AJ Lee coming back in the Women's Rumble.
I would like that.
I think like there's a big possibility that does happen.
Would she be full time, or would it just be?
I think it'd be for the pop. I don't think she'd stay. How long has she been out of the game?
Yeah.
As long as Punk? Or a little longer?
Way longer. It's been way longer.
2020?
So
I don't remember.
first thing first with Saturday Night Main Event, I didn't realize that the PLEs are still on Peacock for now.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be. Well, I haven't heard they're switching at all. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
Okay. So the main event is Gunther versus Jey Uso for the championship. Is it main event? Like, let's talk about this. Is it Jay's time finally?
Hopefully. Well, I'm sick of Gunther.
I would love it to be.
Jay wins it. I think Jay wins it.
I would love it to be, except for that we've all read and talked about how much all of the backstage guys love Gunther.
No, I get it, but sometimes you got to do what's best for business.
I want it to happen. I would love to see Jay walk out with gold.
Like, yeah, I think it's time, guys.
I want it to happen. I want to have. I'm sure they'll do it.
We got Rhea versus Nia for the women's championship.
And people are complaining about this. This just might be just a little bump in the road for Rhea. Just like, here's something to give the people. You're building Rhea back up while she bides time for one of these others to come back, or maybe they come back at main event.
I don't think that there's any way Rhea. But yeah, I think you might be right. Maybe you have.
She's not losing. I just mean this is just a little bump in the road, like storyline wise. Like,
I agree.
They don't have necessarily anything at the moment, so she's just gonna take this little throwaway thing. That's one of those things I was talking about. It's just like sometimes you gotta just let certain things play out.
Right. This match I'm kind of curious about, the Braun Breaker versus Sheamus, because this time around Sheamus has been really like talking about the fact that this is the one belt he hasn't won. So I think Sheamus might win it.
And they've been talking multiple times, right?
Yeah.
They've been yanking a crank on this for so long, dude.
I love that term.
How many IC title matches has he had in the past year, including like straight up matches and triple threat matches? And each time he gets screwed. And not only does he get screwed, we get screwed on it. Because even if you're not a huge Sheamus fan, I've never been the biggest Sheamus fan, but give the man his flowers and let him be a Grand Slam champ. This is garbage that he hasn't gotten it. You know what I mean? And to your point, I think at another time, what are they doing with Braun Breaker?
Right.
Nothing. You barely see him. It's just, he better win it.
So the last match, is I think low-key might end up being match of the night. Braun Strowman versus Jacob Fatu. Like,
I agree.
I think it's gonna suck for Braun because I think they're gonna use Braun to put Jacob over. Like, I don't think anyway Jacob loses, but I think you are going to see. I don't know, like maybe like Braun loses and then all of a sudden the six come out and fucking take Braun away. Like, I can see something cool like that happening. I don't know, like, but this obviously isn't going to be a long-term feud because of what they're going to be building up after Rumble. But I think it's going to be a hell of a fucking match.
Or what if he's the only person who can beat him one-on-one?
I don't think they're
play into his size.
I think Jacob is far too new to have him lose. Yeah, because they've put so much emphasis on how
In a singles match, for sure.
Like how he's this unbeatable monster. Like I don't like they're not gonna have him lose.
I think
like Braun Strowman 4 or 5 years ago when he was throwing ambulances. You know what I mean, like there's no way you would have that wrestler lose. And like since Jacob Fatu has come in, they have only said how he is the craziest son of a bitch in the fucking world.
Yeah, I think you should go like, if you're talking about it like that they should just be destroying each other. They start destroying the building. We're talking
Right.
Kong Godzilla here, you know. I think they should leave it at that.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
One other thing, congratulations on the women's IC champion, Valkyria.
Yeah.
However, I will die on the hill that it should have been Natty as the first champ, period. The
agree.
fact that it's not is, I feel like it's wrong. Like it's a super slap in the face to her legacy. And she should have had like a serious run. So
yeah, 100%. I agree. They should have gave it to Natty. Yeah. So actually, one piece of business we need to talk about quick is we are going to do the Royal Rumble slots. We'll do the drawing next week. We have 17 spots taken already. What'd you say, Drew?
I love a good slot.
You do. So I currently have all 4 of us down.
Both the show.
All right. And if anybody else you want to know, I will give my Venmo out to everybody on the show next week. Send me all the money you want, guys. Remember, it's $20 a slot. Winner takes all $600. And if we get enough interest in the next week, we might open a second one for the women's. All right.
Ooh.
Anybody, anything else?
No.
That was a penis.
Give it to me.
I can't.
All right, knock, 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 bitches.
Peace out, homies.
Bye.